Hello, it's October, so it's time to watch some horror movies. I'm a fan of the VHS anthology series, even if the quality wavers from time to time. So as a public service to you, the viewer, I thought I'd rank the 16 segments from VHS from its worst to best. So let's get started. Number 16, Gorgeous Vortex from VHS Viral. Ugh, where to start? There's a reason why Todd Lincoln's segment was left off VHS Viral. Meandering, artsy, and up its own hind end to the point of pretension, Gorgeous Vortex is a mess of a short film that doesn't fit the rest of the anthology's intentions. Already the weakest of the series, VHS Viral couldn't afford to alienate viewers with this confusing, bleak, and incomprehensible segment. Included in the DVD release, Gorgeous Vortex is proof that the series did have some sort of standard for inclusion. This short is a nonsensical dud. Number 15, Vicious Circle, VHS Viral. The VHS series uses a short film as a framing device to get us, the viewer, in and out of the other short films, sort of a film inside a series of films. Vicious Circle is the framing device film for VHS Viral. It's pretty terrible. The story of a guy who loves filming his girlfriend, Vicious Circle finds the guy riding his bike after an evil ice cream truck when she disappears. The problem is the other two framing devices build to something, with varied degrees of success as you'll see, but Vicious Circle takes a long time to get almost nowhere. Each time we return to it, it's exactly the same. It's our hero riding his bike, the ice cream truck escaping, and people offing themselves. At least build to something, but its final segment doesn't make any sense and falls flat. It takes a huge chunk of the film to do nothing. Vicious Circle is a bad segment contained in a film that's already a lesser copy of its predecessors. Number 14, Tape 56 from VHS. The framing devices are largely known to be the weakest part of the VHS series. While Adam Wingard's Tape 56 from the original VHS is a better constructed film than Vicious Circle, its annoying characters killed any enjoyment that I could have with it. The plot, a crew of loud, obnoxious bros are paid to break into a house to find a VHS tape. Inside, they find the homeowner dead, or so they think, and many VHS tapes, so the guys begin watching the contents of those tapes to find the one they're looking for. The film does its job, getting us in and out of the segments, but Tape 56 ends abruptly with a lackluster payoff. It's hard to identify with characters that are seen assaulting women within the first 30 seconds of the film, but we can't even enjoy their deaths because a majority of them happen off-screen. Easily the weakest part of the original VHS. Number 13, Bone Storm, VHS Viral. Bone Storm starts with an interesting concept. A group of guys decide to head to Mexico to shoot a skateboarding video. When they arrive at the site of the shoot, they don't realize that the area is looked over by a group of cult members who are looking to summon a demon. But quickly the segment devolves into violence for violence sake, and quickly repetitive kills. The downside of the POV shooting style is that scenes can quickly become muddy and confusing if not done right. The filmmakers that have success with the VHS series have found creative ways to get out of POV shooting. Directors Justin Benson and Aaron Scott Moorhead keep their cameras locked on their characters' helmets, which results in zombie kill after zombie kill from the same point of view. It's the baseline of what could be done with this format and nothing more. After a while I kept looking for a hook, something else to keep me involved. Bone Storm does nothing else, it's a bit of a one-trick pony. Number 12, The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger, VHS. Joe Swanberg's segment in the original VHS uses the webcam format to get away from having to shoot everything point of view, which results in some bone-chilling moments. The story of a man talking to his girlfriend about her haunted apartment is creepy.
It was the first time we were apart since I was really little. I mean, now is the first time we've been apart since high school, and I just...
Emily! But the film doesn't add up to much, as the ending really ruins the clever nature of the film's concept. There are some good jump scares along the way, but the film is ultimately a letdown. Number 11, Slumber Party Alien Abduction, VHS 2. Jason Eisner's entry in the series could have been something special. The plot, a group of kids hold a sleepover the night of an alien attack. The alien effects are great and lead to some spine-chilling shots, but the film is ultimately a single-note premise. Eisner uses bright lights and loud noises to create jump scares, but once you figure out the format, the scares fall flat. VHS 2 is largely a win from start to finish, but this film is the weakest of the bunch. Number 10, Tape 49, VHS 2. VHS 2's framing film is the story of a couple of private investigators who are tasked with finding a missing man. They break into the man's house to find that his house is lined with VHS tapes, each holding a creepy short movie, which we then watch alongside them. Director Simon Barrett's film has a slow pace, which had me searching the frame for hidden monsters. It's a slow build of a film that wraps up the second VHS nicely, even if it's a little silly. As far as VHS framing devices go, Tape 49 is the most cohesive.
It's time for me to make a tape for myself.
Number 9, Dante the Great, VHS Viral. Director Greg Bishop's Dante the Great from VHS Viral is the most fun I had within Viral's running time. The plot: Dante was a weak magician until he came upon a mysterious cloak which turned him into the hottest magician in town. But the cloak needs dark magic to keep its powers. Magic that's driving Dante mad. It's not a very scary film. It puts cleverly constructed set pieces over scares. It also abandons the series' POV shooting style for a more documentary look. But even then, I found the segment to be well constructed and thoroughly entertaining. Number 8, Tuesday the 17th, VHS. Director Glenn McQuaid's Tuesday the 17th is the first film in the series to take the VHS tape concept and run with it. The story of a group of kids lured into the woods to confront a dangerous foe, Tuesday the 17th uses the VHS tape format in ever more creative ways. It's not a scary film once it reveals itself, but it's a ton of fun to watch and tells an interesting story in its short running time.
Joey, you're all gonna fucking die up here.
What?
Number 7, Second Honeymoon, VHS. If you've seen anything from director Ty West, you know his style of slow burn claustrophobic horror. Second Honeymoon is no different. It's a slow-paced, intense story of a couple out on their honeymoon, which doesn't go quite as planned.
What are you doing? You can't even enjoy this. You're holding a camera.
It's a simple film, but with Ty West, one of the current masters of horror, at the helm, it works really, really well. Number 6, Parallel Monsters, VHS Viral.
Ha funcionado, ¿no? Sí. Bueno.
VHS Viral's Parallel Monster is a slow burn of a film, creative in concept and expert in execution. The story of a scientist who opens a portal to the same world 15 minutes in the future, only to learn things are not what they seem, is a heart-pounder of a film. There's a fun interplay between the audience and the characters at work here, with the audience having to catch up with the story, but then completely surpassing the characters' knowledge of the situation, if only because we know it's a VHS film. There's an intensity to watching the characters realize what we already know, and the horror that happens when we're both on the same page. It's an interesting film, and the best of VHS Viral. Number 5, Amateur Night, VHS.
Hey, you wanna go meet some people over there?
The first segment of the original VHS is a film that I respected more the second time I saw it. Amateur Night is the story of some guys who load up the hidden cameras and go out for a night on the town with the expectation of making an amateur sex tape. One of the girls they pick up turns out to be quite the handful.
Oh, shit! What? Oh, fuck! She really just fucking bit me!
Amateur Night is the only VHS segment to spawn its own feature film, which I haven't seen, but I hope it's more of a slow burn because the segment here escalates quickly, becoming a gore fest in a blink of an eye. The second time I saw it, I started to notice the hints that David Bruckner put in his film, hiding the girl in the background of certain scenes. It's an intense ride for those of you who like gore fests. Number 4, Phase 1 Clinical Trials, VHS 2. Now we're in the thick of the best of the best. Phase 1 Clinical Trials takes the POV style at its most literal, with our main character taking on a camera in his eye after a head injury. He's played by writer-director Adam Wingard.
Eye injuries like yours are quite rare, so that's why we've installed a recording chip into the eye itself so we can test the data that it's receiving.
Wingard is known for his twisted, original take on horror films with films like You're Next, and this segment of VHS 2 is no different. When our main character starts to have crazy visions with his new eye, we're taken along for the journey. The experience is an intense and ingenious take on the haunting genre. Number 3, A Ride in the Park, VHS 2. I don't want to say too much about A Ride in the Park because most of the fun is derived from watching it and beating the film to its hook. Once I saw where the film was going, I had a stupid grin across my face for its entire running time. It's so good, I don't want to say any more. We're moving on. Number 2, Safe Haven, VHS 2. A documentary crew goes to a religious compound to interview their leader. Sounds uneventful, right? It would be, but this is VHS. In the capable hands of the men that brought you The Raid and Headshot, Safe Haven is an unsettling film from the start and only builds from there. This is VHS at its most shocking and certainly its most violent. Safe Haven escalates quickly and the film turns into a fight for survival for its characters. This film undergoes the biggest transformation between the R-rated version and the uncut version. Make sure you choose unrated to see Safe Haven in all its bloody, shocking glory. And number 1, 10/31/98 from VHS. The last short in the original VHS is also its best. Coming from the filmmaking collective Radio Silence, 10/31/98 is the story of some guys heading out for a Halloween party. Getting lost along the way, the guys enter what they think is their party house, which they instantly guess is a heavily themed haunted house, as they would, and they treat it as such, laughing and joking along the way.
Hello?
Oh, Jesus! God!
What? What?
Like people reaching on the wall at you.
But no, what the guys have entered is a real haunted house, which is the site of a sacrifice that they accidentally interrupt.
Cast him down! Cast him down! Who are they, Father? Cast! What are you doing here?
It's at this point they realize that their situation is deadly serious as they fight to escape a house that's quickly trying to kill them. 10/31/98 takes its ingenious concept, a group of guys mistaking a real haunted house for a fake one, and runs with it. The chaos that ensues is heart-racing, but really entertaining for the viewer. What makes this film stand out is not only its tonal shift, but that the characters are actually worth rooting for. At the bottom of the staircase, they can easily make their exit, but they decide to go back into the attic to save the victim of the sacrifice. The original VHS is filled with narcissistic characters, so Radio Silence's segment seems different in tone than the other films. It's an exciting film that's entertaining from the beginning to end. It's the best of VHS. So what do you guys think? Do you have a favorite segment from VHS? Let's hear it in the comments. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.